Now we're back on the Morning Crossfire.
From your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire
With Femi D Live.
All right, welcome back to the show this very morning. We're glad you joined in. Oh, yes, a lot is going on across the country. Some have been asking the question about what would be the exact motive now, and why the APC governors, at least some of them, seems to not to be relenting around the issue of cash at the Naira swap, at the Naira exchange, and anything else you want to describe it as being the part of it. It looks like the new challenge across the country with the Naira. People are kind of settling into it. The prime of it is going away. Looks like there was good assurances, well received by Nigerians after President Muhammadu Buhari made that speech last Friday in the morning, where he talked about the 200 Naira, old 200 Naira, the new 200 Naira going back into circulation till the 10th of April, while the 500 and 1,000 will not be circulated accordingly. But then, starting to make sense is if you put some sense of stories together to wonder what exactly is going on. Like this one said by Buba Galadima. Okay, just listen to this for a moment. Just take a listen.
What? Engineer? 22 billion of the old currency stacked in his house. Yes, I speak. Governor in the governor.
Yeah, really.
The government said they are doing this because a lot of people have amassed wealth. I mean, all the currency in their private houses. Agreed.
You agree with that?
I agree.
How?
Because I know that there is a governor in the northwestern part of this country that has got, from intelligence,
yes,
has got about 22 billion naira of the old currency.
What? Engineer?
22 billion of the old currency stacked in his house. Yes, I speak.
A governor in the
governor in Northwest.
Will you blow the...
No. No need. He knows himself.
And you know that he knows himself?
Yes, and the security agencies know.
But why are they not talking?
Because maybe they belong to the same club. Or they are protecting him.
Or maybe they set a trap for him, I don't know.
Well, the trap is for him to go out to change. But what we are saying is,
okay,
for this man, single man with 22 billion, in cash that he has accumulated through corruption, fraud of the system. My worry is the ordinary man in Yobe, in Tulotuloa.
That's in Undecided local government, right? Okay.
The government said...
This is Morning Crossfire.
That was Buba Galadima speaking about old Naira and where it is exactly. 22 billion Naira, according to him, is in the home of a governor in the northwestern parts of the country. And, when you put that story together, alongside with what Honorable Dogua also talked about when he provided a briefing and what it entails to run for office in Nigeria, one starts to see a pattern. Take a listen to what he said last week that a lot of you were talking about.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Of course, you can agree with me, has become a very major, very serious problem in the country. So for those of us who are now holding brief for the entire members of the House of Representatives and by extension the National Assembly, we must follow off every step. And it is on that note that we felt it is worthy and we deemed fit to seek for an appointment with the audience of Mr. President this morning. And thank God Mr. President obliged us an audience, which of course we met him. One important thing I must stress is that, yes, Mr. President had earlier on in the morning came up with a national broadcast, which he used to address Nigerians. And most of the issues and the outcries we wanted to really discuss with Mr. President is like he has addressed a lot of them in the course of his national broadcast this morning. But that notwithstanding, Mr. President allowed us opportunity to meet with him, believe in the fact that this is a committee that represents the institution of the legislature, which of course is an arm of government standing on its own. And when you have issues to do with policies of government, when you have matters that border on the lives and livelihood of our people, then the best institution to speak for Nigerians is this institution, the National Assembly, and in this case, the House of Representatives. I want to commend Mr. President for the fact that despite his tight schedule and despite of the presentation he has made to the nation today, he agreed to meet with us. And one more important thing that excited each and every one of us was that when we met Mr. President was already on ground with all the relevant agencies that have to do with this currency redesign and Naira swap. The CBN governor was there at the instance of Mr. President. Of course, we never wrote to the CBN governor to join us here. The representatives of the Ministry of Finance was there. The SGF was also represented there. The Inspector General of Police was also there. I'm trying to say that I, as the leader of this committee, and by extension, a representation of the House of Representatives, are truly impressed by the outing we have had with Mr. President, because everyone that matters as far as this policy is concerned was on ground to interface with this committee.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Of Section 20, subsection 3 of the CBN Act, where it says very clearly that if the banknote is being redesigned, and that is what you call old and new Naira, the old currency must be redeemable at time of presentations, either at the central bank or at the commercial banks. This is contained in Mr. President's speech, which otherwise, in the speech of the CBN governor, he otherwise said, oh, that can only be redeemable at the central bank. What the Constitution says, that money must be redeemable on presentations to the banks, whether central bank, commercial banks, or whichever, even if it's microfinance bank. After all, would you expect a local trader in Jibia or a local trader in Badagry to come and have access to the central bank? Do individuals have private accounts in the central bank? Central bank is not an individual account operator. So certainly policies are made, and when such policies are now seen to be quite impracticable, or they're seen to be very inimical to the development of the nation or the economy in terms of its fiscal management or fiscal administration, those of us in the House of Representatives, as representatives of the people, we have the statutory mandate to blow the whistle. And that is what we're doing. We have blown this whistle in the National Assembly on the floor of the House, and we have come this far to blow same whistle to Mr. President, while thanking him for the new steps he has taken to cushion the effect of this unfortunate policy. Of course, I took special apology to some of my members here who are members of other parties. But I, as a member of the ruling party, I told Mr. President, with due respect, that the policy in itself is a policy that is against the ruling party, my party, because it's a government policy. Muhammadu Buhari's government of the APC, and Nigerians at time of elections are now looking at my government coming up with an unpopular policy. Unpopular because it does not matter even if the policy may be seen to be professionally good. Some of us see a lot of things that is good about the policy, but the question, as far as we are concerned, those of us in the ruling party, is that why now? Why? 30, 40 days to election, you come up with a popular that is not widely accepted by Nigerians, and whether you like it or not, that will be seen as an APC program and policy of government. So those of us in the APC are not happy about it. And I believe some of my colleagues who are even in the other parties will not see these things as a good policy. Not good because the time is absolutely wrong. But I want to say without any fear of contradiction, I share in principle, I also share in the perception of Mr. President, I share in the perception of the CBN governor that there is need to entrench this policy so as to be able to address some security problems. There is need for this policy so that Nigeria can also be seen to be working on same page with international economies. Cashless policy, yes, cashless. But why do you want us to be cashless at a time when we are facing a general election, when our security apparatus to work and protect the election process will require cash at hand to service their logistics? Why would you say and insist on cashlessness when even INEC is expressing a lot of fears that without cash, cash in hard copy.
Yes, let them ask questions.
Cash in hard copy is needed to carry on activities by the Electoral Commission. So, like I said, no one of us is against the policy in terms of its principle. Nobody is against the policy in terms of its desirability to make Nigerian economy, of course, a worldwide nature of kind of economy. But the implications, far-reaching implications, and some of the unintended consequences, negative consequences brought about by this policy is what we must rise to fight in the interest of Nigerian people and in the interest of our electoral process. As far as the committee is concerned, vis-a-vis to our engagement with Mr. President and officials of the central bank, I think it was a fruitful discussion. Fruitful because the President put it clear before the CBN governor to effect the directives, presidential directives given by Mr. President. And those of us who now exercise our statutory powers to oversight the agencies of government will take it from there. We'll go and oversight the CBN as a statutory body to oversight government agencies to ensure that presidential orders as contained in his speech are being carried away to the latter. But as to whether Mr. President took any legal position for or against the judgment of the Supreme Court, that I think you need to sort it out with Garba Shehu, because I don't speak for Mr. President.
Yes. So effects from today, from as his directives, is from today.
What? The directives given by Mr. President are outright presidential orders, and they should be carried out immediately with immediate alacrity. No more, no less. With immediate effect. And whoever fails or derails in the implementation of such directives, then the House of Representatives will use the powers around it to ensure that such directives are being implemented to the latter in the light of the law. I think the first question is quite easier for me to answer because of the fact that I have said it up initio, that our engagement with Mr. President today was very brilliant, very exciting, and Mr. President has done what we expected of him. In the first place, he has invited these relevant security agencies to be part of our meeting. He has invited the CBN governor to be also there. And we also have to say, without any fear of contradiction, that the broadcast today by Mr. President has addressed a lot of things that we wanted to even discuss with him positively. Why we insisted that it's not yet Uhuru is for us to see to the forces of government really implementation the orders of Mr. President to the latter. A lot has been said by Mr. President, and we agree with him. We are on the same page. But how would that be carried out? How do you have cash, new Naira note, or the so-called 200 Naira note available to the remotest part of Nigeria, to Palgore in my federal constituency, or to Saminaka in Lere federal constituency, or even to the Metropolitan Council? All we are saying is that the President has done well in the steps he has taken in addressing the nation, but more should be done, like the Oliver Twist would say. More should be done. And doing more in this regard simply means overseeing what the central bank will do. Instructions are here. Implementations could be on the other side. And we will help to now follow it up. We will help Mr. President to follow it up while exercising our oversight powers to ensure that what Mr. President has ordered within the ambit of the law is being implemented without let or hindrance. Vote buying question, like you said, I want to tell you without any equivocality that I, the Adodogwa you know, who has won the election 7 times, and that I belong to the ruling APC proudly. No one of us in the APC, and I believe even in other parties, is out to buy votes. But you must also take into cognizance that there is a clear-cut provision in the Electoral Act which provides for the amount of money needed for every political office holder to take during campaign to use. A member of the House of Representatives is expected by law to have not more than 70 million naira to conduct his elections and whatever, logistics and other things. 70 million naira. Cash. By law. Yes. A presidential candidate, for instance, needs to have how much? About 5 billion or 1 billion? 1 billion for presidential candidates. At least the law the law has provided for us the amount of money we need to oversee our election process. You need to pay your agents in the villages where you don't have ATM machines, in the villages where you don't have POS, in the villages where absolutely you don't have this new Naira. So this is money that I require, that the law has permitted me to have 70 million Naira as logistics for my election funding.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Well, there you have it, Honorable Ado Dogua, speaking about 70 million Naira needed for logistics for an election. We didn't get it. Would other people get it? Certainly, maybe not. We'll see how it plays out in the 2023 elections that comes a few days from now. Stay with me right here now, Drawing. After the break, we'll talk more this very morning.
Back to back.
through a little bit of much of the analysis as follow through with the president's declaration as it pertains to the Naira swap or Naira exchange and, well, the Naira redesign. That's where it all started from. And, well, the day that really matters the most to all of this is coming around. I'm talking about the 2023 elections. Call it Nigeria decides, you'll be right as well. But how are we deciding around this? Some have said this redesign will stop vote buying. Some have provided an alternative narrative around this, describing it that, well, with the scarcity of the Naira, for the few people that do have the Naira, who may choose to offer up the Naira before, during and after an election, they would have their way easily because supposedly they would make more they would make more commitment, and people are in desperate need of this paper to spend, of this paper in cash form to spend, and that's what really matters. But as the governors continue to argue out, remember the verdict around this is due from the Supreme Court February 23. That's 3 days from now. They would have their own, communication as regards it out. It could be an injunction, it could be a judgment. But whatever the case is, it's likely not to have much effect on the days to come before the election. Whatever they decide, it's 2 days to the election. It may likely take a while before their decision weighs in on the election. Not the same, the presidential election will be done by then. However, there are people who are undecided. There are undecided voters everywhere. People who, not just because they don't care about the nation, but they have chosen not to go out and vote for the likes of fear. Over the weekend, I was watching the video of a few soldiers along the lines, I think it was Ojo in Lagos, as they, did go on. Some say it was a show-off. Some say it was a way to get the supposed perpetrators of crime that may want to commit crime in Lagos State to understand that there will be soldiers available to clamp down on any effort. Some say, well, the soldiers were just going on their own. But whatever the case is, there were quite a number of soldiers moving along those lines in Lagos. And yes, it tells you how important this election is and how President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to securing his legacy through every means he can. After all, he had said, it belongs to everybody and belongs to nobody. What better time to prove that than now? Let's take your calls on 0700-951-0000. Okay, that's 0700-951-0000. And then you can also join in on the alternative line, which is 080-9597-4869. 080-9597-4869. And yes, if you're joining in via the WhatsApp portal, it's 080-999-30137. Okay, let's take your calls and listen to you this morning. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Dr. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Thank you. It's about Dr. Mamali.
Ambassador, good to have you on. Let's talk.
Thank you. I love what you said. I am for anybody and I'm for everybody. I'm the president. This is the right time that we want to see from him.
Ambassador, I'm actually struggling to hear you. Do you mind if we call back? Let's give it a try again, okay? I'm not too sure I can hear you properly. Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is my name is Al-Asan Takani, Dola, local state.
Good to have you on.
Yeah, let me take from the currency, let me take from the another newspaper headline saying from fire to fire. Nigerian people can never say from fire to fire. Somebody that pronounced that one, he said, fire to fire to himself. I can assure you, Aswaju is our boy. Aswaju is in the forefront of winning this election, inshallah. Anybody that thinks that Nigeria is going to be in fire, let him come back for his head. Thank you very much for now.
All right, well, he's analyzing politics the way you understand it. But let's take on another call. Good morning to you. Oh, that is stay true. Okay, here we go. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
Very well. I remain my humble self, Batified Abubakar Ali. I'm calling from PW Kubo. I remain the unapologetic Jagabanista.
All right, then
Next
welcome.
week, by this time, by the special grace of God Almighty, it will be few hours to knowing who our next president-elect is. And hopefully, is going to be my principal. Mr. Femi D. Amale, you said the president said he belonged to nobody and belonged to somebody, isn't it?
It belongs to nobody. Now you've confused me.
And belong to everybody now. He belonged to nobody and he belonged to everybody, isn't it?
Yes, I think that's the one I'm looking for.
But his action lately does not portray that. Yes, and that is my candid opinion. If you have a football match and whenever I want to score a goal, the goalpost will be shifted. For me, that does not belong to everybody.
Okay.
Yes. Of course, yes. That is my candid opinion. Let me not go further than this. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Batified. Says President of Nigeria, an APC member, shifted the goalpost in the middle of an election. Well, what else? Good morning, Femi. I'm Jerry from Master Driver. I agree with our incoming president. If he wins, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Waziri Adamawa, a vote for APC is a transition from fry pan to fire. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Femi D. Once again. Oku is my name.
All right, okay, welcome.
My own take is an Naira committee in House of Reps. Somebody Ado.
Honorable Ado Dokuwa.
Yes, I hear his voice. He claimed that he represented people in the rural area. That's inside Bush village. He had represented how many years ago? And that place still remains a village. Which means he don't offer them anything. We see the House of Reps we have. A committee in Naira. That's the type of committee we have in the House of Reps. Committee, Naira committee. We have said, we have concluded, nothing will happen. Nothing. We stand on what we said. Then, issue of Governor of Benue, are you with me? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Yes, Governor of Benue said, they come from G5 governor, yes. He take a good decision. Yes, we are tired of those. That's the strongest governor we have in the North Central. It's not somebody that keeps quiet when they are killed his people. No.
All right.
He's the strongest
thank you, Okwe.
in the North Central. It's not like a...
Thank you, Okwe. Okay. Okay. Hey, don't lose your calm. Don't lose ground. Okay. Pius says, good morning, FMD. Please, have you taken our time to listen to some lawyers on the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to look into the Naira issues? Please, what really is the business of the governors on the flow of the Naira from the Apex Bank to commercial banks? Sir, I think they have all taken more than enough for themselves. Now, asking the courts to do the work of CBN, they are the ones always asking the courts to do the works of INEC. Please, why are they not always comfortable? That's the question Paris is asking. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
How are you?
Very well, welcome.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Very well, madam.
Okay. Please, if the Supreme Court should overturn the decision of...
you may need to start with your name. Your name, please. Hello?
I'm calling you from Buhari.
Okay. Yes, go on. Go on, please. Yes, it's breaking, though.
I say if the Supreme Court should... it's network. If Supreme Court should overturn the decision of Mr. President, won't it lead to constitutional crisis? And for the man that is saying they need money, can't he transfer the money to those people that will do work for them? We don't want to be carrying cash around on election day.
I listen to you. I hear you. I'm listening to you. All right. Well, that's Mommy Z's viewpoint to this. Okay. Well, constitutional crisis. I guess the biggest role of the Supreme Court at this time will be to ensure that there's no constitutional crisis in all of this, because they are in the best position to interpret what the Constitution says. So it will not be in light of goodness to create a constitutional crisis along those lines. So we'll see what the decision would be like. I'm sure a lot of things will go into that consideration to make those decisions that really do matter. UK from FCT says, good morning, from the old Naira notes are still in use in Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, someone should remind those governors, countering the president's orders, that President Buhari is still the president of Nigeria. Why are they trying to cause division? We only have one nation. EFCC should go after them. In a nutshell, Peter Obi remains the best for the job. God bless Nigeria. Okay. And by the way, I don't know if you guys heard the part where I mentioned that the governors are meeting with the CEOs of banks, okay? And I'm wondering what that meeting would be about. Are we going to say the CBN is supplying the commercial banks money, and they, in some commercial banks, are now looking the way to provide for the governors separately as premium customers ahead of the rest of us? Just wondering. Good morning to you.
Oh, sorry. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I'm with you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes, I can, sir.
Hello, Dr. Femi.
Yes, I can hear you very well, sir. Oh, there. Okay. Let's let it be. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ogasemidi.
Good to have you on. What's your name?
Ibn Ali from Suleja, Niger State.
All right, then. Let's talk.
Yeah, thank you. Some governors are meeting with the CEOs of banks.
Mm-hmm.
You see, Nigerians are waiting for the judgment of Supreme Court by God's willingness tomorrow, because some of us are going to take some of our bank managers to court for breaching our fundamental right for having access to our money we made legitimately. And we are going to see how those CEOs of these banks and the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria and his supporters of this unpopular policy will get out of this. Let us understand that everybody has his fundamental rights, and the government has its right to provide security and make sure that there is no corruption in the system. If government have no other way to do it, that will not put people in this hardship, killing billions of people legitimately, without providing the necessary infrastructure to back up the policy that will affect good governance in the country, how is that affect the masses? That is what we are saying. We support this government, and that will not support from criticizing when they get it wrong. We are not going to do like what happened in this country before, that people, because they elect the government, they cannot tell the government the truth.
Okay.
That is not the society we want to build.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much. Okay, good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dr. Famidi.
Good to connect with you. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine. This is Aruna calling back.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah. All right. Doctor, is it, I don't know, is it that question they asked that House of Assembly member about vote buying? I think he twisted the answer by saying that they by law, they needed 70 million naira cash to run election. For what? Why will you need such kind of money? You see, at times some of these law that we Nigerians are not following up, it's not fair. We are not being carried along. I don't see any reason for a politician to need. In fact, just imagine what he said about the president. He needed 1 billion naira for just election. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning to you. Yes, thank you so much. Well, there's all these reports that they have to submit at the end, but usually nobody looks through these reports. If they do look through them, there's no action around them. But here we go. Maybe things will be different this time around. Asala from South says, Femi, Tinubu after Buhari is like from voting Tinubu after Buhari is like from fry pan to fire, according to article. If Atiku does not have anything to campaign with, it should say the sky is farm. Atiku that promised that he will sell NNPC to his friends and sell our national assets to elect Atiku will worsen our situation from fry pan to fire. Okay, and then no Christian political party can tell its members kind of suddenly realize that there's no religion party, which is already late when church was on attack in those states. Then you go to say Tinubu. Okay, so Asala, just remember to always take your time to separate your messages. It would help to comprehend and easily read them. Good morning to you.
A fabulous morning to you, family.
Fabulous morning to you too.
Yes, my name is Fabulous D. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you. Long time. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Let me do. You are doing a nice job, but quickly.
Yes, sir.
I cannot help but agree with Atiku Abubakar.
Okay.
For the first time, this man has spoken the truth. It doesn't matter who he is talking to, but this is nothing but the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I support him, and I want to urge Nigerians, please, let's bear with this government till Saturday. It is Saturday, just 5 or 6 days more. We have not died since, and we are not going to die. I support the government on this 100%, no going back. There should be no money in circulation till Saturday. It is affecting me as I speak to you now. I don't even have 500. The highest currency I have in my pocket is 400. But I am willing to sacrifice this if this is the means we are going to get a good leader. I am ready to go through the trouble till Saturday. So please, I am begging the president, if he's listening to me right now, there is no going back until Saturday. Thank you, and have a nice celebration. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Femi D.
Thank you so much, D, as well, for calling in. Good morning, Femi D. This is the week we are waiting for God to give his mind who to lead Nigeria for another 4 years. The children of God has prayed and still praying for to God to give us good leaders this time. Nigeria needs to change. Tinubu is just going to Aso Rock to rest. We need presidents like Peter Obi or Atiku Austin. Time to move Nigeria forward. Elder Johnson Nketa from Aso Maraba did write that in. Africa from Yaya says, good morning. All CBN should start distributing 200 Naira notes to ease the suffering of Nigerians. We cannot even see the cash. We are now buying our own Naira with Naira. God, we need urgent help in our country, Nigeria. God bless Nigeria, he writes in. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, yes, welcome. Just turn down the volume of your radio, please.
This is Jonathan from Kaduna.
Oh, Jonathan. Welcome from Kaduna.
Yeah. What I want to ask about this issue, Erifai for Kaduna State, has he taken the federal government to court because of the issue of that money? Since when they are killing people in Kaduna, how many times have they ever take federal government to court? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you, Jonathan. I believe you're making a statement. That how many times has he carried the federal government to court over killings in Kaduna, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't recall him ever doing that. He has often criticized their move, though, but he has never done that. There's been no court process instituted.
They don't mind to take federal government to court because of the issue of the money.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I believe so, Jonathan.
So I want the government ask him about that.
Okay. All right. Interesting point, Jonathan. Thank you. Comrade Chris Ezio from Madela says on 2023 general elections, he who is willing and knowingly consents to the cause of his own injury has no rights of redress. Nigerians, vote wisely and vote your conscience. Don't mortgage the future of your generations unborn because of temporal gains. Be a good compatriot by shunning attractive offers. That's Comrade Chris there. From the Supreme Court is not accepting old Naira notes for case feud. Oluwachide writes it in. Good morning, Femi. Buhari's voice this morning sounds as if he was under duress while talking. Obi all the way. If they like, let the cabals play all the games. Obi must win. Comrade Nathaniel Umar from Yaya writing it in. Good morning, Femi. I'm Pastor Senator Ugiagbe Frank from Edo State. People are for Peter Obi, Labour Party, he writes. Daniel says, good morning, Femi. Atiku is the best candidate and is going to be Nigeria's next president. That's according to Daniel. Engineer Ibra from Lifecom says, good morning, Femi. Rufai was right on this one. Instead of Naira redesign, we had recoloration. And instead of currency swap, we have currency confiscation. I just hope the CBN governor have not eventually made Nigerians lose confidence in the banking system, because you can't deposit your money in the bank and be having difficulty in withdrawing it or paying more to the POS agents before getting your own earned deposit money from the bank. Okay? All right. I'm going to just leave your message at that point in time. Actually says, morning from day, please, can you share with me the name of the motivational speaker you played at 7:25? Okay, I will check up and see if I can revert on that. From D, I trust you're doing good. Oh, yes, I am. You go on to say, it's very obvious now that our so-called leaders are pained by this redesign of the Naira. In as much as I feel the pains of fellow Nigerians, I just pray that President Buhari and the CBN governor will maintain their stance till after the elections. The number of press releases and interviews being granted, especially by APC members, is just unbelievable. Confirm the fears of the ordinary Nigerians that the likes of Ado Dogoa, El Rufai and co need this money to buy votes. It's hurting them beyond reasons. And at least President Buhari is trying to leave one legacy to this country before he leaves. Fidelis writes that in. All right, well, interesting point of view you've all shared at this point in time. We've got to break it off. I really have to break it off. Thank you so much for all you've written in at this point in time. But remember, as the week builds up, we'll be here to cover the biggest parts of the elections for you. We ask of you more than ever before, when you call in, when you contribute, or anything you do on Nigeria Info, be more responsible more than ever. Be respectful, be accommodative, and you know the nice things I would like to say to you. But please, more than ever before, it's important. Let's build our country together with our words, even on Nigeria Info. Thank you for a good time. All right, you're on Nigeria Info. And that's it for me on Morning Crossfire. I'm Femi D. Amale. Good morning to you.